And welcome everyone, it's your boy Zero, and I'm back with another unboxing mini. Those of you who know me know that I still like Yu-Gi-Oh! I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in the mid-2000s and I loved the gameplay style. However, nowadays I've gotten quite annoyed and quite honestly bored with how modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Plays. I personally think of it as a single-player game with how long turns would take. However, I've been taking solace in a different format of Yu-Gi-Oh! Gameplay called Yugioh Speed Duel. Those of you who play Yugioh Duel Links on your phones will know exactly what I'm talking about. Yugioh Speed Duel is a different format, a more dumbed down version of Yu-Gi-Oh!, less high stakes, not as meta as modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is. It plays a lot more like old school Yu-Gi-Oh!, and I have with me what seems to be the final set of the Yugioh Speed Duel format, Yugioh Speed Duel Battle City Finals. Released last month on December 13th, 2024, it finally seems like Konami is going to pull the plug on the Yugioh Speed Duel format. It doesn't really seem like it's been hitting quite where they want it to. They stopped selling it in Europe, so it's only a US thing right now. And they're sending it off with a bang because Battle City, at least in my opinion, was the best season of Yu-Gi-Oh! To date. Fight me in the comments. I will take this to my grave. It sucks that this is going to be the last Speed Duel set. However, I'm still excited to see what's inside this box, so let me stop talking and let's start unboxing. And we're on unboxing mode, so let's get into it. So here we have the Yugioh Speed Duel Battle City Finals. Quick intro for those who are uninitiated. Once again, Speed Duel is a more simplified or dumbed down version of regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Instead of 5 monster and spell trap zones, you only get 3. You don't have a main phase 2. Another major difference between regular modern Yu-Gi-Oh! And then of course Speed Duel is the fact that you get character cards which add special effects to the game. This actually helps Yu-Gi-Oh! Speed Duel feel more like an anime duel, because you'll have characters like Joey and Yugi getting some of their signature moves, I guess you could say. Like Joey is very lucky, so like if you play a card that has a let's say a flip coin mechanic and you play a specific Joey character card, you'll get to flip a coin again or maybe roll a dice again. With Yugi, you'll be able to search out a Dark Magician much easier, stuff like that. These are the kind of things I look for in Yu-Gi-Oh! Speed Duel, the kind of things that I really like. It just really seems like Konami hasn't been able to continue to, let's say, keep people's attention on Yu-Gi-Oh! Speed Duel. A lot of people seem to be playing a lot more Time Wizard formats. Once again, for those who don't know, Time Wizard formats are, again, older versions of Yu-Gi-Oh! Formats. So less cards in the card pool. You'll like, let's say for Scapegoat format or Goat format for short, you'd only be using cards from around 2005, 2004. And then there's Edison format. You'd be using cards from around 2010 to 2010, maybe 2007, stuff like that. So it looks like Yu-Gi-Oh! Speed Duel kind of lost its niche. I still love it though, and I would love to see more of Yu-Gi-Oh! Speed Duel. Let's hope Konami actually brings it back later. I would hate for them to introduce Synchros, but it seems like that's going to be the next logical step. Who knows, maybe they'll try to change up Yu-Gi-Oh! Speed Duel somehow, or maybe they'll just introduce Rush Duel instead. Anyway, enough talking, let's actually cut this thing open. It's still in its cellophane wrapping because I really wanted to open it up for the channel. We haven't really done too much Yu-Gi-Oh! Unboxing on this channel, or unpacking, rather. It's something that I really do enjoy. Like, again, when the anime debuted back in the early 2000s, I was in that key demographic, man. I was that kid. I wanted to play. I was the Joey Wheeler of the group. Oh my god! I wanted to play Flame Swordsman, Red Eyes Black Dragon, Time Wizard, stuff like that. It was so much fun recreating the decks from the show and using them in real life and messing with your friends in the playground. Again, that's why I like Speed Duel, because it kind of reminds me of that. They don't use all those crazy cards that they use in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! That makes it feel like a single-player game. I have my gripes with modern. Anyway, enough of that. Let's actually open up this box. And there we go. As a matter of fact, before I continue, let's move that aside. One thing I really like about these Speed Duel sets is the fact that these are essentially ready to play deck sets. Right here even says right here that you have 8 ready-to-play decks based off of all the characters from the Battle City Finals. That includes Kaiba, Yugi, Joey, Marik, Yamibakura, Odeon, for those who remember him, Ishizu, Marik's sister, and of course, Mai, which is great because I love seeing female representation in shows. It only expands your pool of possible players, in my opinion. So this is something that I really like to see. Let's go around the top. Actually, you see Joey and Odeon, Ishizu and Kaiba, Mai and Marik, and here we have Yugi and Bakura, or Yamibakura. Very cool, very nice. Let's put this over here. Another nice thing is they also give you playmats. So let's go ahead and open up this playmat. This is a 2-player playmat, so it's not going to be anything small. Oh god, it's actually quite huge. Let's see if I can't at least open it all the way and at least show one side. Yeah, you can pretty much see one side. You have Yugi, you have Kaiba on this side. Over here, it's out of frame, but when we put it in frame, you have the field and extra deck zones. It's hard to see, but you can at least see it over here. This is one of the monster zones and one of the spell trap zones. You get 3 only. And then, of course, your graveyard and your deck zones. Very useful, very nice. This is actually quite a nice play mat. On the flip side, it basically tells you how to play the game, what cards are here, attack positions versus attack positions, stuff like that, formats to play. There's a 4-way battle royale that we can do. I'm likely going to try that with some friends one day. Flip it over once again on the other side of the back of the playmat. You get your deck lists right here. So if you want to play a specific deck, you make sure you look at all these cards and you basically build it together. And over here, you have the 8 Battle City finalists, a brief description of them, and likely what it is their decks do. Yeah, I see here Metal Reflex Slime, the Winged Dragon of Ra, stuff like that. Another amazing thing about this specific set is that you get the Egyptian God cards. Now, the neuron of many viewers right now probably started firing when they heard the Egyptian God cards, and that's because back in the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, those God cards were really sought after. When I was very young, when the anime was still new, those God cards were nowhere to be seen. Like, they were specifically colored ones, just like in the show, but they weren't really usable. It wasn't until like close to 2010 or something like that that we actually got usable versions of the Egyptian God cards. And even back then, I'm pretty sure a lot of people wanted to grab those. But yes, back to the unboxing. Here we have the extra cards that you get for this set. Let me double check something. Yep, I just made sure. This set brings 253 cards. That includes all of the decks I mentioned before, and of course some extra cards to help boost some of these decks. Now, as I mentioned, the Egyptian God cards are in a very rare form in this special set. I believe it's called Prismatic Hollow or something like that. So it makes the card look fantastic. If you like holographic cards, cardboard and stuff like that, you're gonna be getting it in here like that. So let's go through some of these extra cards and then we're gonna go straight through the decks. All right, so here you have DD Warrior, very nice. I believe that's also Prismatic Hollow. Mirage of Nightmare, very cool. Harpy Queen, very nice. Joker's Knight. Those of you who have watched Battle City, you'll know that during that saga, Yugi used a more knight-focused deck along with his Dark Magicians. So they finally made a Joker Knight. That's pretty cool. Breakthrough Skill. This is a trap card I'm familiar with. Maxi. This card is banned. I don't know if it's actually usable in Speed Duel, unless you guys are playing unbanned cards, which is just complete total chaos. But this is nice to have, obviously. Dark Necrofear. This was Yamibakura's key card. Like, this is the card he used to really mess with people. This card is freaking wild. All right. Let's go ahead and keep going. Injection Fairy Lily, iconic card. Every time I see this art or any girl with like white and pink, like white dress or like pink hair, it reminds me specifically of this card. Iconic in Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, Prismatic Hollow Blue Eyes White Dragon with the art that you get from the Legend of the Blue Eyes starter. No, not the starter, booster pack. Holy crap, this thing looks fantastic. I need sunglasses to look at this thing. Oh my sweet lord, this looks great. And here we have the Egyptian God cards, like I mentioned before. Prismatic Hollow Slifer, the frickin' Sky Dragon. My personal favorite of the Egyptian God cards, if I'm being 100% honest. This thing looks fantastic. The actual usable one in any Yu-Gi-Oh format is Obelisk the Tormentor. Here we have the Kaiba Staple. Very nice. Also in the Prismatic Hollow. And of course, the legendary Winged Dragon of Ra. This card is beautiful. We got the yellow, we got the red, we got the blue. Primary colors. And we also have white, you know, with the blue eyes, you know, why not? These cards look fantastic. This card's getting blown out. I love how this looks. Some of you keen-eye viewers are probably looking at the blue eyes and the other cards and realizing, wow, why does it have that special like Speed Duel printing here and here? Like, what's up with that? That's because Konami, when they created Speed Duel, decided to screw everybody over by forcing people to only use cards with the Speed Duel printing. However, if you wanted to use Speed Duel Yu-Gi-Oh cards in regular Yu-Gi-Oh, it's a-okay. It's actually a good way to get special holos for cheap. This set only costs about 30 bucks, and if you want like that Prismatic Hollow Blue Eyes, you can buy it and get it cheap that way. Plus a bunch of other cards you're about to see soon. But you can't use regular Yu-Gi-Oh cards without the Speed Duel printing in Speed Duel. For a lot of us who have a very old collection of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, that's gonna really piss us off. It pissed me off quite a bit if I'm being 100% honest. But I guess that's the way Konami decided to keep it balanced and make sure people didn't abuse the limited format. Once again, hitting the camera. Sorry about that, guys. I don't blame people who decided to just give up on Speed Duel for that reason specifically. I just wish Konami did a better job. But let's go ahead and open up this. I don't think this is a deck. I think these are just the extra character cards that I mentioned earlier that you can that you're able to basically swap into whatever deck you create. So let's go ahead and look through this. Duke Devlin, he has a special card, See Me Rolling. Yeah, they see me rolling, they hate him. Duke, once per duel, you can add one card with an effect that requires a die roll from your deck to your hand. Then place one card from your hand on the bottom to the bottom of the deck. Apply the following skill. Once per turn, when you roll a dice for a card effect, you may re-roll. So that just gives you an idea of how these things work. The back, by the way, does not have the regular Yu-Gi-Oh backing. That's because this does not go in your deck. These skill cards, these character skill cards, specifically stay outside of your deck. Anywhere on the board, it doesn't matter. They don't have a specific zone, which kind of annoys me. And they usually sit face down, and when you're ready to activate it, or whenever the back of the card says you activate it, you flip it, and then you get the effect. That's how the character cards work, these skill cards. These are pretty cool. Here we have one for Taya, that's pretty awesome. Apply the following skill. You take no battle damage during your turn. Once per turn during your end phase. If your opponent activated a card effect this turn, draw one card. Pretty cool. This one says, at the start of the duel, flip this card over. Huh, that's interesting. I wonder if it's once per turn. Here we have a card for Tristan. I'm not going to read all of them because we'd be here forever. Even the odds. You guys can easily look the card list up. It's not hard. Here we have Noah's Ark. This was actually a smaller arc within the Battle City Finals arc. Pretty cool. Shinato, King of a Higher Plane. I believe this was actually Noah's card. Oh wow, look at that. So it's not just character cards. We also get more extra cards here. Shinto's Arc, the the ritual spell to summon it. Hinokagu, Otohime, Asura Priest, Sword of Kusanagi, Magician's Valkyria. Every time I saw this thing, I would think, wow, that looks like an upgraded version of Dark Magician Girl, and then I look at the attack and I say, oh, no, it's not. Witch of the Black Forest, an insanely useful card in older format Yu-Gi-Oh! Fire Sorcerer, I had this card back in the day. Shining Angel, Angel 01, never saw it. Guiding Light, Nightmare Penguin, one of the deck masters in the Noah arc, pretty cool. A regular Injection Fairy Lily. That's not in the Prismatic Rare Hollow. Very interesting. Mystic Tomato, another very useful card from the older format. Spirit Reaper, Thunderball. I'm actually glad they made this into a regular card because Yu-Gi-Oh! Dungeon Dice Monsters was a very interesting and fun game, but it never went anywhere. Orgoth the Relentless was also made into a card. Flying Kamakiri, Prime Material Dragon, Mobius the Frost Monarch. All these cards just bring back a lot of memories. King of the Swamp. This card in your hand, field, or graveyard can be... Yeah, I knew I recognized this thing. This could be used as a substitute for a fusion summon material. Very useful. Melody of Awakening Dragon. This is going in the Kaiba deck for sure. A regular non-hollow breakthrough skill. My boy Red Eyes Black Dragon. I would have preferred this to be in the Prismatic Hollow, but we got the Blue Eyes, so I can't really complain. The Blue Eyes Ultimate Frickin' Dragon. This is also going in the Kaiba deck because why not? And a non-hollow Maxi. I kind of don't want any more Maxis if I'm being 100% honest because they're just not usable. They're banned. So that's kind of frustrating for me, but whatever. All right, let's try to speed through some of these deck openings because we're already a couple minutes in. Pull the tab. That's one thing I really do like that Konami did with these sets. They made it really easy to peel. Don't need to like actually flip some sort of plastic piece over to do it. You just kind of tear it through. My boy Joey Wheeler, Battle City Slugger. This is one of his skill cards. All warrior monsters you control gain 100 attack. Looks like this is warrior based. And Red Eye Inferno. So if you want to put that Red Eyes in his deck, you can do that. Guilford the Lightning made an appearance during the Battle City Saga, and boy was it a badass card, just wiping the field. Total Defense Shogun, Jinzo the Lockdown Pro. For those who don't know, he basically locks the opponent from using any trap cards. It also locks you out of it, but it really does help in a duel. Absolute Crusader. This is the first time I'm seeing this card. I think it's newer. He definitely didn't use it in Battle City. Same thing with Blue Flame Swordsman. But this is just a more easy to use version other than like the fusion, obviously. Valkyrian Knight. I recognize this card. I just don't remember what it does, but in the essence of time, let's just keep going. Penguin Soldier, very good for clearing monsters on the board. A regular non-hollow DD Warrior. Invader of the Throne. Command Knight, a favorite of mine actually for warrior decks. Gearfried the Iron Knight. I would have loved to see the released form of Gearfried in this deck, but I know that it's not in it. Sol and Luna. Sun and Moon, by the way, for those who don't speak Spanish. Target one monster you control and one monster your opponent controls. Apply the following effects. One face up. If the monster is face up, change it to face down defense. Face down, change it to face up defense. You can only activate one Sol Luna per turn. That's pretty cool. Fissure, very useful. Just pop a monster on the board, very cool. Reinforcements, good for searching. Nice equip spell, United We Stand. Fusion Sword, so this will make it easier to pull out a fusion monster. Trap Hole of Spikes. This was literally not a card in old school formats, and it annoyed me because I wanted it badly for my Joey deck. I'm glad to see it out finally. Fairy Box, a really easy way to annoy your opponent. Let's see, we got Floodgate Trap Hole. Very nice. Kunai with Chain. Back in the day, I had a Japanese version of this card because it wasn't printed in English yet. But thankfully, the GBA games actually translated the cards for you. What do you know? Blast with Chain, very cool. And now we're on to Odeon. By the way, decks in this format are only 20 to 30 cards. So that's why we went through the deck pretty quickly. So here we have Royal Temple of the Kings, And also Desert's Peril. Desert's Peril, not Desserts. Desert's Peril. Very cool skill card. Mystical Beast of Circuit. Guardian Sphinx, a very hilarious card. I created a hilarious stall deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel because I like to piss off modern players. I really hate modern play. The End of Anubis. Gravekeepers. This is what I remember Odeon using. Gravekeeper's Guard, Swarm of Centipedes, Swarm of Scarabs, very, what's it called? Appropriate. Also, Swarm of Locusts. Des Lacuda. Very cool. Mirage of Nightmare, Double Snare, Sword of Revealing Light. Mystical Space Typhoon, really good for popping any annoying spell or trap cards. Book of Moon, easy to stop any attacking monsters, really useful. Embodiment of Apophis, one of those rare trap cards that actually become a monster after activating. We get 2 of those. Another trap that turns into a monster, Tiki Curse, really like it. And another one too, Tiki Soul. Ordeal of a Traveler. I love this card because I also use it in my stall deck to piss people off. Whenever an opponent attacks, your opponent has to choose a card in my hand, and the opponent has to choose a card in your hand. Guess if it's a monster, spell, or trap. If they guess wrong, the attacking monster goes to the hand. It's a really good way to bounce a monster and annoy your opponent. I love it. Wabaku, basically stop an attack and stop damage. Judgment of Anubis and Curse of Anubis. All very appropriate. I love it. All right, looks like the next deck is going to be Marek and someone else. So let's go ahead and peel this out. Very nice. So here we have Yami Marek. Not just Marek, he's Yami, he's dark. Advent of Ra and Pulling the Strings. And of course he used the Winged Dragon of Ra back in the day, so he's going to have the Winged Dragon of Ra, Immortal Phoenix mode, and then of course the Sphere mode, Holding Arms, Makiura the Destructor, Lord Poison, Granadora, Lava Golem. I remember from the Battle City episode how useful this thing was. Revival Jam, that was annoying. Reactor Slime to create more jam tokens. Dark Droida, New Doria, Monster Reborn. All these cards just keep bringing back so many memories, man. Just Playground Yu-Gi-Oh! Was the best, especially when you actually knew how to play it and everybody was a good sport about it. Some kids would get really upset if they lost. Metal Reflex Slime, a very useful card. And of course, Mai did duel him, so her deck would be with his. Tribal Unity and Harpy's Kaleidoscope. Harpy's Pet Dragon, Fearsome Fire Blast, a new version of it. Harpy's Dancer, Harpy Queen, Harpy Channeler, Harpy Lady 1 and 2. Cyber Harpy Lady, I really like this card. Essentially just your regular Harpy Lady but powered up, I like it. Harpy Lady Sisters. I hated the fact that they made them into 1 card. It should have been that you summoned 3. Amazoness Princess. That's right, during Battle City she started incorporating Amazoness cards, which I thought were freaking awesome. Amazoness Sword Woman, Queen, Hysteric Sign. I believe this works with the Harpy Lady Dragon. Elegant Egotist, we all know that's how you summon the Harpy Lady Sisters. Harpy's Hunting Ground, a field spell. Amazoness Call, Amazoness Fighting Spirit, Hysteric Party, Amazoness Onslaught, Mirror Wall, key card in her deck as well. And Windstorm of Etaqua. Okay, we have 4 decks left. Let's go with Kaiba's next. The girls love the rich boy. Alright, here we have his skill cards, Executive Privilege, and Symbol of Pride. And of course, we all know the rich boy loves his white dragons. So 1, 2, and 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons for his deck. The King of D. Konami, stop doing this. It's too easy to make fun of this. The King of Dragons. This basically helps you summon more Blue Eyes. I have no idea why he has the Deathfurl Imp. Ancient Lamp, lightly for Lajin, Mystical Genie of the Lamp. That's right, he also started incorporating these mechanical cards like the X-Head Dragon, White Dragon Head, and Z Metal Tank. Hopefully he also has the fusions for it in this deck. Enemy Controller, a more legal version of Change of Heart. Shrink, Union Hanger, Here we have the Flute of Summoning Dragons, helps you summon more dragons. Dragon Revival Rhapsody, trade in so you can get your blue eyes a lot faster. You can scramble, Shadow Spell. This card was iconic in the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, seriously. Loop of Destruction, because he also used the Ring of Destruction, hopefully it's in here. Champion's Vigilance, and like I said, right on cue, here we have the fusion for the XYZ monsters. Very cool to see them, and we have another formation of them with the XY drag. Ooh, and the XZ tank cannon, that's pretty cool. Alright, Ishizu's up next. Again, another female character for, again, female viewers to get attached to. I'd love to see it. As I predicted, because she had this whole thing about using the necklace to see the future. Keeper of the Valley. And we're going to see more Gravekeeper stuff, I believe. So here we have Mudora the Sword Oracle. Cataclysmic Crusted Calcifida? Whatever. Ajido, I remember that. Kelbeck, Mudora. Keldo, Zolga. Zolga looks a little too mechanic for her. Air Knight of Parshath. This card was actually quite good back in older formats of Yu-Gi-Oh! Gravekeeper, like I said before. Gravekeeper's Spy, Gravekeeper's Descendant, Recruiter, Oracle, and Necro Valley, obviously, to help out the Gravekeepers. Drag down into the grave. Bashing Shield, very cool. Exchange of the Spirits, Gravekeeper's Trap, Wall of Disruption, and Rite of Spirit. Alright, we're here, finally. Yugi's deck. So I'm expecting to see Dark Magician Girl, and we have not seen Bakura's deck yet, so we're going to see his here as well. So let's get into it. Here we have Yugi's spell card, skill card more like. Sky God Revelation, likely to help you get Slifer out. Ever Faithful Champions. And here we have the Knight cards that I talked about before. King's Knight, Queen's Knight, Jack's Knight, and of course, Joker's Knight. Very cool. Imperial Boxer. This looks like something that that's, again, Knight focused. Arcana Triumph Joker. Interesting. This looks like Queen's Knight, but different. Big Shield Gardna, this thing was hard to take down back in the anime. Once it's in defense position, you can't really take it down. Obnoxious Celtic Guardian, iconic for Yugi. Breaker the Magical Warrior. Magic Karibo, this did not exist back then, but I do like to see it in Yugi's deck. Different art Dark Magician. Different art Dark Magician. There we go. Say that 10 times fast. I love it when they do this. They give us alt arts of the cards. I just wish it was hollow. Dark Magician Girl, I love this art because when you pair it with the original purple Dark Magician, they're basically doing the whole bending the knee, holding the hat, but in opposite directions. I think it's perfect. I would actually pair this with the purple one. Swords Revealing Light, of course, because Yugi uses it. Monster Reborn, we all know what that does. Thunder Speed Summoning, Spell Shattering Arrow, Joker's Wild, have no idea what that does. Court of Cards, once again for the Knight cards. Quaking Mirror Force, that looks fantastic. Dust Tornado, and we're done with Yugi's deck. Final deck, we get Yami Merrick. So let's get into it. Fear the Dark is his first skill, and Malevolence of the Millennium Ring is his second one. And once again, Dark Necro Fear, non-hollow, still looks cool. I'm definitely putting the hollow cards in a freaking sleeve or something later. Dark Ruler Hades, Invader of Darkness. Wow, Yami Bakura, you really seem to like the dark. Doom Caliber Knight, Snipe Hunter, I actually like using that card. Sangon, another amazing old school card. Fiendish Rhino Warrior, Winged Dominion, I remember this card. Jowls of Dark Demise, Doomdog, oh this thing's cute. Doomdog Octhros, I don't know how to pronounce that. Fusion Devourer. This card battles a fusion monster with a fusion. Ooh, so basically if you use a fusion monster against this thing, it loses. Knight Assailant, and of course the Destiny board. Now in the Japanese version it spells out death, but here it just spells out final, so you have F-I-N-A-L. They should have just changed it back to death, seriously. Dark Spirit Mastery, have no idea what that does. Spiritualism. Premature Burial, a more fairer version of Revival, because let's be honest, Monster Reborn doesn't have any sort of cost to it. Foolish Burial, everybody used it back then to get a monster into the grave. Offerings to the Doomed, Sentence of Doom, and Zoma the Spirit, another trap card that becomes a monster. So those are all the decks included, all the cards included as well over here on the side, all the extra cards. And I wish there was something beneath this little trap door thing in here, but there's nothing. Just that little piece of cardboard that they punched out to make this easier to put in, obviously. I wish they had given us a little secret thing in there, maybe a die or something, a counter or token. But no, that's going to do it for this unboxing, everyone. This was a blast from the past. I wish Joey's deck specifically was more actually attuned to what he did in Battle City, but this is like the third Battle City set, so I kind of understand if they don't want to retread the same road again when it comes to giving certain cards to certain characters. I love these cards. I cannot wait to team up with some friends, maybe try that 4-player style that the playmat over there talked about. By the way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like old school Yu-Gi-Oh like I do, make sure to slap the like button, mash the subscribe button, and let me know down in the comments below, who was your favorite character? Did you build character decks back in the day like I did? Are you guys also tired of modern Yu-Gi-Oh? And yeah, if you want to see more awesome videos like this, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more awesome content. I'll see you next time.